Welk, Senior Business Reporter with IndieWire, and we're here at the IndieWire Studio at Sundance, presented by Dropbox. And I am here today with the team from Peter Hujar's Day. We have director and writer Ira Sachs and stars Rebecca Hall and Ben Whishaw. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And congratulations with this film. It's a fascinating historical document, a fascinating, structure. What led you to this transcript? How did you find it? And really what intrigued you about these two really important figures in New York art history?
Well, the transcript was found in the Morgan Library in the Peter Hujar collection. And Peter was a photographer that I've been interested in for decades. And it was found and then published as a book in 2024, which is 50 years to the year when after the conversation took place in 1974. And I read the transcript and I read the dialogue between Peter and Linda, and I think I connected to the time, but also to the texture of intimacy between these two friends, which seemed to me very dramatic, unexpectedly, and very intimate. And I think the intimacy is what got me involved. Yeah.
And what made you think that this was best for a film, like as opposed to a play or some other medium? I mean, what were some of your challenges in making this conversation between two people so cinematic?
Well, I think for me in film and cinema in general, like a connection with something that feels authentic between two people is sort of what I search for in every scene that I shoot. And this, in a way, is a step forward because the language is so authentic. You feel like you're already there. So then the enactment was actually very hard to figure out. Once we had everything in place, like 2 actors, money, we're shooting in a couple of weeks, and then I was like, what the hell do I do with this? Because I wanted to make a movie. Yeah. And so to understand how to translate this dialogue into something that became suspenseful, emotional, not boring, was an interesting challenge, and it kept me up at night.
I mean, it really moves, and it's very quick, 75 minutes, and but and how much of the transcript is on the screen? Did you have to add anything?
Well, once we started working together, I went back to the Morgan Library and got the transcript out again and realized that they had taken a bunch out in publishing the book. So I added things, including a really nice dialogue about Betty Davis that would have been lost forever. We find very touching that it now exists forever. And it's such a nice part of the film. That being said, when we edited the film, I worked with Afonso Gonçalves and have since I came here in 1996. So for a long time, we've worked together. And we took things out. We had liberty. We could do what we wanted. So it's not every word, but all the words were there.
So there's nothing that you wrote specifically for them, or?
No, I mean, I think the writing process was really understanding how to turn something that was probably like this into the movie, which was really an opening out of the movie into a series of 33 scenes. Yeah. And that was something that kind of expanded the film and made it really a film about portraiture in a lot of ways, not just about the past, but a film about photography.
Ben and Rebecca, talk about finding these characters. What intrigued you about Peter and Linda? And I mean, Ben, let's start with you because you have a very particular New York accent in this film, and I imagine you had to do some research to really tap into what Peter Hujar was like.
It's a tricky balance because when I've said to people, oh, we're making a film about Peter Hujar, they expect that it's going to be like a biopic, and I'm like, no, it's not a biopic. It's just a man talking about a day, and so I didn't try to do the whole of this man. It was just this day, this particular moment with his friend. So I let go of feeling like I had to do anything like mimicry of him or. It had to be more personal. It had to be him, but it had to be us. I can't quite explain but something in there. But I did read a lot about him, and I looked at a lot of his work, which I love anyway. And then a lot of it came about through how Ira set up the scenes and let us be free with with the text and with what was happening between us.
Yeah, I mean, Rebecca, same for you. I mean, you have this nuanced character who's, again, doing a project, but also, as Ira alluded to, it's very intimate, and you let your guard down over time. And, what were some of the nuances that you had to tap into and getting to know, again, Linda Rosenkrantz? And yeah.
Listening is one of those sort of acting things that is... Actually, you can bring a lot to listening, and there's a lot of sort of strange authority in listening, actually, especially in this situation where it's set up that the character her complete, intention is to listen to this situation and record it and observe it. So a lot of it was just listening to a rather brilliant performance, and trying to respond to that. But also, Linda is still with us. She's alive, and she's
in Park City.
She's in Park City. She's here. So I got to actually talk to her on the phone, and and I wanted to be at least somewhat specific. Obviously, I couldn't talk like myself. She has a very distinctive New York accent. She's a very distinctive voice, and I wanted to definitely try and evoke the feeling of that, whilst also not wanting to parody it or make it too caricatured. And so, I hope I sort of found a place that sort of evoked mostly, I think, her warmth and her love for Peter, which I think is very present in the text, even though it's, they're not talking about any aspects of their relationship. But in a funny way, and I think this is sort of the brilliance of the film, is that actually you get more of the nuances of human relationships and life and emotions when characters are not talking about the text. And so there was a lot of room, actually, to play that. And the way Ira set it up as well, there was a lot of room and flexibility. Yeah,
I was going to say, I mean, the chemistry between you two, you really feel like old friends. How did you work together in terms of nurturing that relationship, that chemistry early on, to just make it seem so natural?
Well, it's funny because Ben and I aren't old friends. Like, we have both lived in London, and, both were sort of moving in the same circles early in our career and have lots and lots of friends in common. So it seems insane that we're not old friends. And actually, that was the feeling when I met him was more, I don't understand why you're not one of my old friends. I feel instantly that you are. So it was kind of easy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think you get lucky sometimes. It just didn't. It just something just happened.
Well, I think casting is about not to put. I'm just saying, like, I had met Rebecca socially just before I was casting this film, and we could talk. And I think being able to talk with someone is like means there's lots of things you can discover. Yeah. And so I had a sense of that it was she's an interesting person to talk to, and knowing Ben that this could really be somehow close. I mean, I think what's interesting is that they also replicate a community in a world which was filled with distinction. Like there's like probably 75 names that are mentioned in the film. And some of them are very famous, Susan Sontag or
Allen
Ginsberg, but 99% of them are not famous at all. But somehow these two make it, and I think I did the initial research to say, he mentions a photographer, Lilo. And then we all would look at the photographs that Lilo made, and then we could imagine who a Lilo was. But they bring alive every word, which I think is really something that makes the moment in the film kind of more meaningful, because you believe, even without knowing who these people are, you believe that there is a world. Yeah. And so the world feels much bigger outside this boundaried situation.
Okay. Had this project by Linda been completed, what would it have been, or what do you hope to convey about Peter Hujar's legacy with this film?
I really don't have that burden to the extent, I mean, I think I have been inspired by Peter's resilience, both in ¡74 and then throughout his life. He died way too young of AIDS, and so he's one of the artists who kind of who lived through that period and made art in that period, and so there is an honor to him. But actually, the film as an experience is really about watching two people be close and to know each other, and that trust. And I think that trust is something that's very beautiful.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.